Hi everyone, welcome to the Cinema 13 introduction video. In this video I'm going to quickly go over the game mode for this season because it is quite a complex game mode. I'm doing this in place of the talking intro at the start of the season because I just felt like I needed an actual video that people can skip through and look at to see particular powers, because I know just reading a large document can be a bit overwhelming and you kind of want to just explain to you verbally. So for this season, we had 30 players in total. With how many captains is that? I think we had 5 captains. We had 5 captains, so that's 5 teams of 6. It was delayed captains though, so people needed to find their captain, or the captain needed to find their team rather. And every player in the game had a unique power, hence the Suicide Squad tag. The captains were all under the Amanda Waller name, so that's the government agent that recruits the Suicide Squad, played by Viola Davis in the movie, if you want a reference to what that character is. In both the movies, actually, not just the one. All the powers are unique to that player. There's not a repeated power. The only repeated power are the Amanda Waller powers. How the powers are balanced is, well, they're not really balanced. Okay, a lot of powers they're very different. There's some powers that are bad. There's some powers that are very good, like way too good, like powers you should not have in a UC game. A lot of powers are just like, they're basically redundant. Like they just shouldn't be there. So yeah, we have quite a variety going on. And just some short thank yous real quick. I want to thank Elysium Slime Brothers for hosting. He hosted it very, very last second for us, so I want to thank him a lot for that. I want to thank Ripper for the coding. He done such a good job on it. I also want to thank DJ for the intro. He really killed it this time. I want to thank Jay for the renders. He killed it arguably as much as Dido did. The renders are sick. I want to thank Dom for helping me with the game mode. It was originally his idea that we adapted together. It was mostly his work, so I want to thank Dom again, literally carrying the round. I want to thank everyone else to help me with tier creation and tiering the powers and helping me who should get what power and so on. That was a lot of people helped me with that. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy my explanation video, and I hope you guys enjoy this season. Yay! So the first power we're going to explain is the Amanda Waller power. So this works just like other delayed captains games, where you go up to a team and you right click them to join your team. The difference comes in where you can / recon people, so it shows you their armor, their coordinates, and what power they have. The recon command had a 10-minute cooldown, so that's about 600 seconds. It resets off damaging people, so this enables people to / recon during fights, so you can keep track of what people have. 5 people had this power, so Pigay had it, Railgun had it, Cole Bacon had it, Dijo had it, and Griffin Kicklin had it. So the Harley Quinn power gave the player a baseball bat, which was a retextured brick, I'm pretty sure, actually. And this brick, otherwise known as a baseball bat, it gave the player speed 2 whenever they held it in their hand, and jump boost 2. So the player was running around, bouncing around everywhere, very max speed. And the baseball bat allowed them to hit the end of their knockback 2. So you run at someone and you just knock back to them and you run away. As you can see, you go very fast with the ability. And the player that had this was one of our newcomers, 527 max.
Whoa.
The next power I'll be displaying is Bloodsport. With this power, every single bow shot gave the player poison 1 for about half a heart. It gave you a tick of poison, basically 1 tick of poison. Then every single hit, with no matter what weapon, if it was a fist or a sword or anything, give you knockback 1. So that was to do a little bit of a nerf for the extra bow damage that they got. So the next power was used by Lotta, and this power, you gain a compass at the start of the game with no purpose, but once you join a team, so when the captain finds you, you can do /target, and when you do /target, it gives you the direction to your target, who can be anyone in the game as long as they're on an opposite team. If they're a solo, it cannot go to them. You don't get any rewards from killing target, only you get to trace them. And if you do not kill them, you will take 2 hearts. The next power is King Shark. So this was used by the one and only Johnny Appleseed. And this power essentially just gives you dolphins, so you can swim around super fast. But it also gives you strength 1 while you're in war. And this lasts for 8 seconds after you leave war. So the idea with it is you can launch yourself out of the water with dolphins and just start strengthening people to death. The next power is one of my personal favorites. It's Ratcatcher, which is by Yevon, of course. The Ratcatcher has a rat wand, which is actually a retextured blaze rod, and right-clicking that summons 5 rats around them, which is 5 silverfish. And right-clicking then instantly removes them, so you can instantly remove them, and instantly put them back, all to your will. And then firing a bow while next to a rat, so about 5 blocks, will fire the rat instead of an arrow, and the rat will go launching towards the person that you're shooting at. And yeah, as you can see, it's extremely inaccurate, but it is also extremely funny, so I don't care. The next one was used by Ripper Steve, who also commented game mode. The player starts off with a snowball, and when you throw the snowball at another player, it will deal half a heart to them. And then after 10 seconds, you'll be given the snowball back, and you can again fire it to deal half a heart. However, if the person has gold in their inventory, hitting them with the snowball will also steal 1 gold from the inventory. So, say they have 3 gold. If you hit them with 3 snowballs, you'll steal all 3 of their ingots from their inventory. It'll come straight out of their inventory. Another big favourite of mine was T.D.K, which was played by Cat. Whenever you're within 10 blocks of someone, you can punch someone. And it doesn't matter where you're facing or where the player is in reference to you, you will always hit the player if they're within 10 blocks of you. However, this only worked on enemy players, so it doesn't actually work on your teammates. So the player essentially got reach hacks by 10 blocks, but it was only with their fist. So they couldn't do it with a sword or another weapon, it was only with their fist. The next power was Weasel, which was very simple. It was played by Carter, and whenever you hit your teammate for 10 seconds, you would get Strength 1 and Speed 1. So the idea was you just punch your teammate when you're about to melee, and then you just run in with your Speed 1 and Strength 1 and just, go to hell. So the next power is Mongal, played by Yellowvit. With this power, you get permanent Speed 1, Resistance 1, and Jump Boost 2. And when your nearby teammates are within 5 to 10 blocks, your teammates gain Speed 1 as in when they're running around you. So it's a bit of like a rallying power. The next power was very simplistic. It was Deadshot. So whenever you missed an arrow, your arrows are deleted and 1 arrow is returned. So it's essentially an infinity bow. However, if you hit your arrow, you will lose the arrow. So it's kind of an infinity bow, but also not. Also, one thing to note is your bow animation will go a bit weird when you get an arrow back. The next power is El Diablo, and disclaimer, this power was actually broken during the game, so I will show it as it was in the game. The player has permanent fire resistance, and whenever you shoot a normal bow, it's a normal bow. But if you get power 1 on your bow, you can toggle that bow in order for it to shoot flame arrows. How it worked in the game is when you shot the flame arrow at a player, it didn't set them on fire, it only visually set them on fire, so it didn't actually take damage from the fire. And then, if you use the flame arrow, it will take away more arrows as your power of the bow increases. So say you have power 1, it will take away 2 arrows. You have power 3, it will take away about 6. So it's in order to punish the player for having a flame bow. Of course, this did not work properly in the game. The player who had this was Waxman. This next power was the tanky power. So played by Toucan Tom was Killer Croc. In episode 4, you would gain resistance 1 permanently. And then in episode 7, you gain resistance 2. So this was essentially a tank power. But you did not get anything in the early game, so it's a power that ramps up throughout the game. So this next power was Katana, played by Warrior Cat. So at the start of the game, you start with a sharp 1 iron sword called Soul Stealer, and when you right-click this sword, you get Strength 1 for 10 seconds. And right-clicking the sword consumes 1 soul. You start off the game with 1 soul. The 1 soul gives you Strength 1. So you right-click the sword, consume a soul, that soul gives you Strength 1, but you lose all your souls. However, if your team kills a player, you gain another soul. So you can ramp up your souls and use strength as much as you want, depending how many kills your team gets. However, I also had trouble showing this in the video because it only works on people that are on an opposite team. This is not something I realized was in the code. So I do get it working. It does work in the game, trust me. Next power was Plastique, played by Quill J1. So with this power, you can craft 2 TNT with only 1 gunpowder and 1 sand, so you can make TNT much easier, and also placing TNT will instantly fuse it, so you don't need to fuse it with flint steel, you don't need to wait for it to ignite, it just instantly goes. So the idea with it is to run around and place as much TNT as you can. To add on to this, players also get speed 1 above Y60, so you don't get it underground, you get it on the surface, so you can run around, place as much TNT as you goddamn please. This next power, Clock King, played by M. Bear, had cut clean from the start of the game, so you get cut clean on iron ore, gold, so on, unlike other players who don't. They also get a clock from the start of the game, a Ratcatcher clock. And with this clock, once they join a team with an Amanda Waller, when Amanda Waller gets them on their team, they can right-click the clock, and they will get teleported to the Amanda Waller. No matter where they are, they'll get teleported to them. If they're on the other side of the map, they'll get teleported. However, if they take damage in 5 seconds of using the clock, the teleportation will be cancelled. This next power, Black Manta, was used by Will Brisk. So how this worked was, when you got diamond armor, you gained special abilities from each piece. However, they didn't stack up to 4, they could only stack up to 2. So essentially how that worked is, if you put the boots on and the pants on first, you got those powers. If you put the chest plate on and the boots on, you got those powers first, and you didn't get the powers from the other 2 pieces. So the individual powers were, boots gave Depth Strider 2, helmet gave night vision and water breathing, leggings gave resistance 1, and diamond chestplate gave 2 extra hearts. This only worked in diamond armor and could only work, and the abilities only worked if it was 1 piece or 2 pieces, not the full piece. You had to select which ones if it was the full set. So this next power is Monsieur Mallah, played by Rocket, and with this power, you start the game off at 15 hearts. However, you start off the game at 10 hearts, but you can heal up to 15, so 150 hearts in total. Another thing is, when you eat a gapple, it will give you 2 absorption hearts. So this is another power that is extremely tanky and really dangerous with someone that can just run in and, just cause mayhem. So someone like this is very hard to do anything to, in melee anyway. Next up is Shrapnel, played by BBR. First things first, you get cut clean at the start of the game, but only for iron, so with gold, you need to smelt it still. With this power, you essentially have to make iron blocks, as many as you can, because you can toggle your bow so it shoots explosive arrows. However, you can only shoot explosive arrows if you have iron blocks, and it will consume an iron block, as well as the arrow, when you shoot the explosive shot. But the explosive shot creates a big AoE effect that can explode the player in a certain direction, and it's also very good at destroying structures like walls and so on and so forth. This next power is China White, which was used by me, Mark Flipper. This power, you have Haste 2 for all of the game, and it also all smelts gold in the same way that the cut clean is for Shrapnel, but with gold this time instead of iron. Mining gold and diamonds, however, sends the drops to another player on your team. So you can't actually collect gold and diamonds yourself, you have to send it to another player. However, you can select what player gets it, so you can do /send and then the player's name, and they will get that power. So this is essentially like a mining utility kind of power. However, when you hit a player in melee, you get strength for 1 second, so China White has very good burst power as well. But however, that is on cooldown for 15 seconds, so they don't have infinite strength when they're meleeing. This next power is Killer Frost, played by 4-Bit. The player has permanent fire resistance, and whenever they walk over water, it turns into ice. When they consume lava, so if you right-click a lava bucket, for 1 minute, you will regain resistance 1, and arrows apply slowness 1 on a shot player for 3 seconds. So as you can see, they'll move extremely slowly, and you can catch up them really quick with your water walking abilities like your Jesus, and you will swing at them and murder them with your ice powers that require lava for some reason. Look up the heroes' powers. Trust me, they use lava. They use fire. It's weird. It's weird. We're adapting the power. This is how it works, okay? These next powers is a duo power. Punch and Jewelee, played by Only Cosmia and Max 50. So Only Cosmia being Punch and Max 50 being Jewelee. Punch has bleeding sweets when he kills a player. And Jewelee, when Punch gets a kill, gains speed 1 or resistance 1 for 30 seconds. These players start off as a team of 2, so when they get right-clicked by Amanda Waller, they both join the team. So say Punch gets picked up by Amanda Waller and Julie's 200 blocks away, they will both join the team at the same time. It doesn't matter where they are in proximity. They also have their own team inventory, so they can sort stuff amongst each other. This does not apply to the rest of the team. It's only their own personal team inventory. So this power, they really do work off each other. So this next power is Deathstroke, which was played by Nintendoshi. So how this power works is whenever you get shot by an arrow, you regenerate for half a heart. So no matter what armor you're wearing, I'm just wearing diamond armor to showcase it. When you get shot by an arrow, you heal half a heart. So as you can see, from a bow spam, I'm only taking about 1% of damage, barely 1%, 1-2%. And from a full bow shot, I'm taking about 9% because I'm healing back half a heart as I'm getting hit. And then when you get below 5 hearts, so 5 hearts or below, you get strength 1 permanently. So, this is quite a clutch little power and is one of the better ones in the game. So this next power is Plasmus, played by Chasmic. This power has permanent fire resistance like a few other powers, but with this power, whenever you take damage, any nearby players will be ignited by the fire, so that means your teammates or an enemy player. So as you can see, it ignites during PvP, so if another player hits you, they will be set on fire. But it also happens with PvE, so if I jump off this little ledge, I will affect the other player. And it can go for quite far. I think it's the max like 10 blocks, 10, 15 blocks. I can't remember, but it can reach quite far. This last power, Parasite, was played by Mercury Paradox. And this power starts with nothing. You have no power from the start of the game. But if you kill a player, you steal their power. So in the video, you can see I killed Dom, and he has the Mongal power. So after I take his power, I get jump boost and resistance 1. And whenever I have a teammate near me, they'll get speed because I stole the power. And this applies for every single power. I steal their power. No matter what power they have, I steal it. So and then if I kill someone after the Mongal power, so say I kill Plasmus afterward, I will get the fire power. So when I take damage, I will set people on fire, and it goes on like that, so on and so on.